close your eyes for a moment and simply listen to the hum of the world around you, a world that seems to be spinning faster with every passing day, a world that demands your attention, your energy, and your spirit until there is almost nothing left for you. We live in an era of unprecedented noise, where the silence of the mind has become a forgotten luxury, replaced by the constant buzzing of notifications, the relentless pressure of social comparison, and the heavy weight of expectations that were never yours to carry. You wake up, and before your feet even touch the floor, the world is already there, waiting to drag you into its chaos, demanding that you react to everything, that you have an opinion on everything, that you feel everything, and that you must always be more than who you are right now. It is a landscape filled with invisible toxins, the subtle poisons of betrayal, the sharp sting of criticism, and the exhausting performance of trying to be seen in a crowd of millions who are all shouting at once. This constant state of alertness, this feeling of walking on eggshells, leaves you drained, reactive, and brittle, like a dry leaf ready to crumble at the slightest touch. You feel the anger rising too quickly, the anxiety tightening your chest when things go wrong, and a deep, aching weariness that sleep simply cannot fix, because it is not your body that is tired, but your soul. But imagine, just for a moment, that you could stand in the middle of a violent storm, with the wind howling and the rain lashing against your face, and yet feel completely dry, warm, and untouched. Imagine that you could walk through a crowd of people screaming your name in anger or whispering lies behind your back, and feel not a single ripple of disturbance in your heart, as if their words were merely dead leaves blowing past your feet. This is not a fantasy, and it is not a superpower reserved for the chosen few. It is the ancient and timeless promise of Stoicism, a philosophy that was not born in a classroom, but forged in the fires of real life, by emperors ruling, facing wars, by slaves enduring chains, and by merchants losing their fortunes in shipwrecks. It is the art of holding the steering wheel of your own soul with a grip so steady that no road, no matter how bumpy or broken, can shake you loose. Stoicism is not about burying your emotions or becoming a stone statue that feels nothing. Rather, it is about becoming the master of your emotions, understanding that while you cannot stop the storm from coming, you can always choose how you set your sails. To navigate this toxic world, you must first understand the most fundamental rule of this ancient wisdom, the foundation upon which all mental strength is built, which is the clear and unshakable distinction between what is yours and what belongs to the world. Most of your suffering, most of your anxiety, and almost all of your anger comes from a single mistake: trying to control things that were never within your power to begin with. You try to control what people think of you, but their thoughts are their own, colored by their own traumas and misunderstandings. You try to control the outcome of your work, the traffic on the road, the mood of your partner, or the fairness of a situation. But these things are like the weather. They happen to you. They do not belong to you. When you tie your happiness to things you cannot control, you are voluntarily handing the keys of your life to strangers and to chance, effectively becoming a slave to circumstance. The path to freedom begins when you draw a circle around yourself and realize that inside that circle is your empire, your thoughts, your judgments, your actions, and your character. And outside that circle is everything else. When you focus only on your empire, you become invincible, because nothing outside can destroy what is inside unless you open the gate and let it in.
Consider the times you felt most hurt, most disrespected. It was likely because someone said something cruel or treated you with indifference. In that moment, it felt as though they had inflicted a wound upon you. But looking closer, you will see that the pain did not come from their words, but from your judgment of their words. You told yourself, "I am being insulted," or "I am being rejected," and that interpretation is what set your blood on fire. If someone speaks a language you do not understand and insults you, you feel nothing. You might even smile, which proves that it is not the sound that hurts, but your agreement with it. The toxic person in your life, the one who manipulates, lies, or belittles, is fighting their own battle, drowning in their own insecurities and shadows. When they lash out at you, it is not a statement about your value, but a symptom of their own internal disease. To be offended by them is like being angry at a fever for being hot. It is their nature. The moment you realize this, you can stop catching the ball of negativity they throw at you. You can watch it sail past you, land on the ground, and remain there, untouched, while you continue on your path, light and unburdened. This is the power of perception, the ability to strip away the story we tell ourselves and see things simply as they are, without the added weight of our emotions. As you walk through this life, you will inevitably face the pain of rejection and the coldness of isolation, for the modern world is paradoxically connected yet deeply lonely. You may find yourself seeking validation, scrolling through screens hoping for a sign that you matter, or changing your behavior to fit into groups that do not actually care for your well-being. This creates a fragile existence where your self-worth rises and falls like the tide, dependent entirely on the moon of public opinion. The Stoic approach to this is to cultivate a self-sufficiency that is so robust that validation becomes a pleasant surplus, not a necessary oxygen. Imagine yourself as a fortress with high walls. What happens outside, the praise, the blame, the applause, the silence, is merely noise in the marketplace. Inside the fortress, you know who you are. You know your values, your intentions, and your efforts. If you have acted with kindness, with integrity, and with courage, then you have already succeeded, regardless of whether the world claps or boos. Do not trade your integrity for the cheap coin of approval. When you stop needing the world to tell you that you are good, you gain a quiet confidence that is incredibly intimidating to chaos. You become dangerous in the best possible way because you cannot be bought, you cannot be bullied, and you cannot be seduced by flattery. There will be days when the toxicity of the world feels personal, when it feels like the universe has conspired to break you. You might lose a job, a relationship might end, or you might face a health crisis. The natural human reaction is to scream, "Why me?" and to sink into the swamp of victimhood. But there is a much higher vantage point, a way of looking at the world from above, as if you were a bird soaring over the landscape of your life. From up there, you see that the traffic jam that ruined your morning is a speck of dust, that the rude comment is a fleeting vibration in the air, and that your life is a brief, precious spark in the vast darkness of eternity. This view does not minimize your pain, but it puts it in proportion. It reminds you that you are part of a much larger whole, and that the obstacles in your path are not barriers, but the path itself. Every difficulty is an opportunity to practice a virtue. A difficult boss is a training partner for patience. A financial loss is a lesson in detachment. A betrayal is a chance to practice forgiveness and independence. Instead of wishing for an easier life, you begin to wish for the strength to endure a difficult one, for it is in the fire that the steel is forged. In this journey of emotional control, silence becomes one of your most powerful weapons. In a world that rewards the loudest voice, we often feel the need to defend ourselves, to explain, to argue, to have the last word. But notice how often words spoken in anger are regretted, how often an argument only deepens the divide. Silence is not weakness. Silence is the pause where wisdom grows. It is the ability to feel the impulse to react, to snap back, to defend your ego, and to let that impulse pass like a wave. When you remain silent in the face of provocation, you are not retreating. You are holding your ground. You are refusing to descend to the level of the chaotic. You are signaling that your peace is too valuable to be traded for a petty victory. This silence creates a vacuum that the other person must fill with their own noise, often revealing their own foolishness in the process. By saying less, you hear more, you see more, and you retain your power. Let your actions speak. Let your character be the defense that needs no words. There is also a profound freedom in accepting the flow of time and the inevitability of change. We suffer because we cling to moments, to people, and to states of being that are by nature temporary. We want the good times to last forever and the bad times to never happen. But the river of life moves only in one direction. To fight the current is to exhaust yourself and eventually drown. To float with it, to accept that seasons change, that people leave, that bodies age, is to find peace with reality. This does not mean you do not love or that you do not care. It means you love with open hands, appreciating the bird while it sits on your window ledge, but not strangling it when it flies away. Everything you have is on loan from the universe, including your own body and the people you hold most dear. Remembering that everything is temporary makes every moment sweeter, every hug tighter, and every sunrise more beautiful. It strips away the petty grievances because you realize there is simply no time to be wasted on hatred or grudges. Death is not a monster to be feared, but a reminder to live, to truly live right now, without the heavy baggage of the past or the paralyzing fear of the future. As you integrate these principles, you will notice a shift in your energy. You will stop bleeding energy into things that do not matter. You will find that you are less exhausted at the end of the day because you haven't spent hours fighting mental battles that exist only in your head. You will begin to look at the toxic behaviors of others, not with anger, but with a distant, pitying understanding. You will realize that the rude driver, the arrogant colleague, the internet troll, they are all acting out of their own suffering and ignorance. You are no longer their victim. You are an observer. You can choose to engage if it is wise, or you can choose to step aside. You are the rock in the surf. The waves crash, the foam flies, the noise is deafening, but when the water recedes, the rock stands exactly where it was, unchanged, eroded only by time, not by the tantrums of the ocean. This transformation requires daily practice. It is not a destination you arrive at, but a manner of traveling. You will fail. You will lose your temper. You will feel the sting of anxiety. When this happens, do not judge yourself harshly, for that is just another form of unnecessary emotion. Simply acknowledge the slip, pick up the reins of your mind, and steer back onto the path. Be a kind but strict mentor to yourself. When you wake up in the morning, remind yourself that today you will meet people who are selfish, ungrateful, and difficult. Tell yourself that this is to be expected, like the thorns on a rose bush, and you are ready. When you go to sleep at night, review your day not with regret, but with the analytical eye of a craftsman looking at his work. Where did I let my emotions rule? Where was I strong? How can I be better tomorrow?
This nightly review closes the book on the day, allowing you to sleep without the haunting echoes of unfinished business. Think of your mind as a garden. If you do not tend to it, weeds will grow. Weeds of fear, weeds of bitterness, weeds of jealousy. The toxic world is constantly blowing seeds into your garden. Emotional control is the act of standing at the gate of your mind, a diligent gardener, deciding what gets to take root and what gets pulled out. You cannot stop the seeds from landing, but you can ensure they do not become a jungle that chokes your peace. You cultivate the flowers of gratitude, the trees of patience, and the fruits of wisdom. It is hard work, but the harvest is a life that is truly your own, a life where you are the master of your fate, not the servant of your impulses. The power you seek is already within you. It is not something you need to buy or learn from a guru. It is simply a matter of clearing away the debris that has buried it. It is the return to your nature as a rational, resilient human being. As you walk forward from this moment, carry this knowledge like a hidden shield. Let the world be loud, you be quiet. Let the world be chaotic, you be organized. Let the world be full of hate, you be full of reason and justice. You are building a sanctuary that travels with you, a portable retreat where you can always find your breath, no matter how thick the smoke becomes. You are reclaiming your time, your attention, and your soul from a world that wants to consume them. Let this be the beginning of your new way of being, a way defined not by how the world treats you, but by how you treat the world. Stand tall, breathe deep, and embrace the calm that comes from knowing that while you control very little of what happens outside, you have absolute, sovereign power over what happens inside. That is your kingdom. Rule it well. Take a moment now to let these words settle in your heart, to feel the weight of them anchoring you to the present moment. If you found strength in this message, if you feel a little more ready to face the world with a steady hand and a calm mind, then I invite you to join us on this journey. Subscribe to the channel Wisdom of Stoic, not just to watch, but to belong to a community of people seeking the same inner freedom. Like this video to help this message find others who are struggling in the storm. Share it with a friend, a brother, a sister, someone who needs to be reminded of their own power. Stay connected, stay strong, and remember, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Peace be with you.